Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Namaste Tomorrow. At the outset, let me wish you a very happy, healthy, and prosperous 2023. Friends, 2022 has seen the Indian startup ecosystem thriving despite the fear of funding winter. With more than 82,000 startups and more getting added every day, we've seen the startup funds becoming more active and looking at early stage startups, and the trend is expected to continue. Interestingly, more and more corporates are now joining the list of investors and looking to investment opportunities both in terms of financial interest as well as engaging with the startups for long-term partnership through corporate innovation programs. In order to understand, how these corporates having multiple business activities and areas, what is their mindset? How are they looking at, engaging with the startups? We have today our guest, Navneet Krishnan, lead group strategy at Manipal Group, where his role involves supporting mid to long-term strategy planning for the group business, M&A, fundraise, startup investments, building of new ventures, etc. A post-management graduate from IIM Bangalore, Navneet has about 20 years of experience across industries like medical devices, biotech, BFSI, and with over 16 years of experience in corporate strategy function. Good morning, Navneet, and welcome to Namaste Tomorrow.
A very good morning, Utpal.
It's
It's a
my
pleasure
pleasure to
indeed.
have you today. Yeah, it's my pleasure to have you today, Navneet. We are really looking at what corporates are looking at. What's the mindset around it. So my first question to you is, can you share some insights on corporates' thought process on partnering with startup ecosystem?
Yeah. Just to give you some heads up on what we do, right? Um, the Manipal Group has been inherently entrepreneurial. There is a culture of always incubating new businesses, and the group has nurtured various businesses, built businesses from the scratch to leadership positions at current. So 5 6 years ago, when all the startup push happened, both from investors, regulators, government, we also thought we should actually have a program to look at startup ecosystem. So we had broadly three objectives when we started looking at startup ecosystem. One, we thought we should have a good learning perspective when we interact with startups. So every startup pitch, a discussion with the founder, is always a great learning experience. He brings to the table a different worldview that we may not have also sometimes. And the space he operates, maybe perhaps it's beyond our core, so it gives a great exposure and learning. So primarily it's learning, one of the objective. Second is collaboration. It's only so much as corporate can do within its core and adjacencies. When you have startups coming with new ideas, new thoughts, new business models, you always have an opportunity to collaborate with them, and it's a mutual win-win collaboration also. Third, obviously, investment is always looking for financial returns on investments, so we always look for financial returns also. So these are the broad three objectives we have when we looked at startup ecosystem, and that's a thought process of the Manipal Group.
Right. I think so. Good insight, Navneet. So my next question, I think so. Given your experience of investing in more than 25 companies, can you share some type of startups that group is looking at investing into?
We as a group has invested in 28 startups so far, and also have a couple of startups we are now currently engaging and evaluating. One commitment is done. The space is the spread of investments have been spread across beyond where we operate, but our focus is mostly into BFSI. But we have also invested in D2C brands, D2C brand enabling technologies, EV, EV enabling technologies, enterprise tech. We have invested in sports tech also. So these are all actually a mix of multiple objectives, but primarily we are focused on BFSI related startups because the group has a very good market, deep market access into BFSI space. So the investments also can turn into good collaboration also. So that's a focus area. Having said that, we are also open for other spaces.
Right. Thanks. I think so. Gives a good insight on what's your thought process. And I have a related question actually. While you have answered, you know, the question was, whether the group is really looking at startups having a synergies with the existing business, or would you be open to looking at startups who could be, creating an opportunity of new business categories?
I think, as I said, it is both. We are open because, as we said, uh, there are three objectives, right? Learning and financial returns. So, if and also collaboration. Collaboration can actually happen more in the space where we have synergies with the startups. But having said that, in terms of learning, in terms of financial returns, we are also open for other spaces also.
Right. Right. So, Navneet, how do you look at, this investment objective of the group? Would you like to do both, financial gains and strategic partnership, or, there's a preference to financial gains over strategic partnership?
No, this is balanced actually. This is balanced. But currently, in the past few years, over the last 2, 3 years, we have been little more focused on strategy gains also. We have been looking at ventures more into BFSS space where we could really partner with them. But generally, the intent is both.
Right. Right. So, what do you think, how the corporate innovation can play, a role Manipal, Manipal, how they are looking at doing a corporate innovation and partnering with startups.
It's all about the exposure and thinking process that happens when we look at the entire problem statement, whatever we face, and we hear from the market, from the customers. There is a set thinking process we have from inside outside perspective. When you look at startups, they always bring in a very different perspective of outside inside because we hear them slightly beyond the space sometimes, and they have a tangential approach to the problem statement. So, strongly believe that the corporate innovation through startups can really be a great driver for overall solution of a problem statement, right? And it can also create quick value because the corporates can bring in shorten the go to market time, and ventures bring in a lot of value in terms of solutions and thought processes. So it's a wonderful amazing opportunity to collaborate with startups for corporate innovation.
Absolutely. I think corporate innovation has to play a key role, going forward as well. So, what are the key factors that you really look at, while making an investment in a startup?
The first and foremost thing is the problem statement and the solution to it. How unique it is. The problem could have always been existing, and there could have been always the solutions for it. But how is this new solution or a product that is going to solve it differently? And is there an advantage over the existing problem or the other existing competition? So that's the primary one. Second is the related market opportunity, the total addressable market, the revenue potential of the venture, and the competition intensity. So that is all kind of completely boiling down to the size of the opportunity and whether the startup can pull off and take a sizable part of this entire opportunity. Third is the uniqueness, the differentiation that the startup brings to the table, which could be a competitive advantage currently, but can that become a very strong moat leading to a leadership in that particular space, ultimately leading to value creation. This is broadly on the market and the solution. Second, on the team, the founder and the founding team, their dedication, their commitment, their exposure, and what they bring to the table is a very important thing which could make or break a venture to excel or to be on mediocre rate. Uh, on the stage of investments, we usually look at ventures which has validated the problem statement and its solution, and having paying customers, and uh, and now looking for capital investment and network to scale up. So that's at the stage of investments. So we mostly look at investments which has a very strong founding team, very strong solution to the problem statement, which is a need and having exponential growth potential, and a stage of venture which has already proven the proof of concept and is looking for investment to scale up further.
The key factors very well laid down, when a corporate is looking at, and specific to Manipal, when they are looking at investing into a startup. So, now that you mentioned BFSI is, one key area where the group is focusing on. So, what do you believe, which kind of a startup in BFSI sectors can play a vital role in group synergy? If you can throw some light on that.
Uh, we have seen in the past, most of the fintech has been around payments and payment related technologies. Then there's a wave of lending and lending related technologies. And insurtech was a slightly, I think it kind of picked up a little late compared to fintech, and that has also picked up. Now there are problem statements in terms of solving the last mile connectivity and the backend infrastructure, and also other complete end-to-end solutions to the many of the banks and insurance companies are looking at solutions that could actually make them very much in line and competitive with the fintechs and new age insurtechs. So any solution that brings and enables the existing financial institution to be hyper competitive and hyper digital would be of real interest.
Right. So BFSI, you believe, has a very long way to go from now onwards also, and there's lot that startup can add a value to the existing financial ecosystem.
For sure, for sure. There are many great interventions that has happened in the last 5 6 years in the entire payments ecosystem and chain, but lot to do on the other spaces also. And if we speak to the CIOs and the bankers, they have the real problem statements that could come, and they're looking at solutions to collaborate with startups. So a startup plus Manipal Group, when they approach financial institutions, could be a good combo because we both bring in our respective strengths to the table.
Right. Right. Uh, Navneet, buy versus build. I think so. This is something which is a constant area of debate. Whether a corporate should try to build something within the corporate itself or try to collaborate with startups who have already created some kind of a system, some kind of a solution around it. So what's your thought on how the corporate should be looking at? Should they try to build something in house, or should they actually go ahead and try and partner with the startups?
Actually, both are there. It's not our, it's and. But build we have always been doing, and I would say all the corporates could be always doing. And for them to be on the core, to lead on the core, to extend around the core, to defend their businesses, they keep building new businesses, and build has always been there, and they will still do. Buy, I would say, I would also put buy as slash collaborate than rather buy also, is that the collaboration actually can open up new horizons, and that could be a value multiplier also for both the corporate and also the startups. So I would suggest that rather I said rather putting must buy, I would also say rather a collaboration leading to buy or whatever you think is right is also a good mode of creating value, perhaps exponentially not a quicker scale, right? So build is all obvious. I don't think any corporate has got any choice but not to build. They would, but buy is a very important value multiplier, but it requires a lot of resources in terms of time, uh, executive management bandwidth, a clear thought on what is needed on the table. So perhaps both are very good paths to value create here.
Right. So rightly mentioned collaboration. I think so. That's probably one synonyms. When we talk about buying. So within that, when a corporate is really thinking of collaborating, one key thing or key program that comes in mind is innovation programs. So, what's your thought on doing an innovation program? Do you think a corporate should think in the line of corporate innovation programs and start having some kind of a allocation toward conducting it on a regular basis from collaboration perspective?
Yeah. I guess it is, and I hear from various quarters that most of the corporates have now got a formal program to do this. Specifically to our group, we do have something called venture incubation program, which is more to do build startups internally. I would say we are trying to build a platform where we are bringing best of both worlds, where your leaders who have a very good idea can come and pitch, and he gets a sponsor within the group. Post his proof of concept, the leaders form a founding team, and they build their own businesses. So we are bringing the best of both worlds, basically the speed, agility, quick scale up of a startup, and a freedom of a founder, and the institutional support on capital, network, governance, direction. So it's a best of both worlds. So we have actually very strong venture incubation program. Uh, Very recently, we have got two ventures which has gone out and even attracted external investments also, and one is currently in a prime stage to hit the market. So it's working for us. Um, Coming to the annual budget, from specifically from a Manipal Group perspective, it's primarily a resource allocation prioritization question, right? We do have our own internal opportunities, and we do have opportunities that's coming from startups. So it's primarily a resource prioritization, optimization, or allocation question that is mostly done because we know what is needed internally, because the ventures which we are incubating have got annual plan, their budget, and we know. And external startups, we do have some kind of a thought on it, but there's no planned annual budget, but we kind of take a call based on the opportunity and the resource allocation questions.
Absolutely. So, 25, 28 startups so far, and I'm sure that the group is planning to add more. So, just what's your plan for next 3 years? Because the startup ecosystem is thriving, it's growing, and it's growing to go multifold from here onwards. So, what's your plan as a group for next 3 years?
I guess, like I said, we are now little slightly focused more on the BFS space, and we have done some experiments, and we see that uh, Manipal's plus the startup, the combo could work very well and mutually beneficial when we collaborate. So we would have more focus on the BFSI space, where we are open for other spaces also, but we are looking very closely on the BFSI space, be it fintech, paytech, insurtech, or agri-tech around payments, or agri-tech around fintech. So anything that has some kind of intersection with financial services and financial products and banking, we will be very keen in it. So next 3 years, perhaps we would be more focused and consciously looking at ventures where we could also add value on the table and jointly create value with the startups. So that could be the a broad agenda or the direction for the investments for the next 3 years.
Excellent. And if I hear you correctly, it's a horizontal or vertical engagement, but the startups needs to have a some kind of a fintech play, which as it basically adds to the value of the group.
Yeah. While we are also open for other spaces also, but I'm saying this is where we could actually add value also.
Correct, correct. So, now that your suggestions, any key takeaways, any suggestions that you have the start for startups who would look to engage with the Manipal Group.
Uh, Utpal, like I said, we have had a very good experience of being partnering with platforms and networks like 100x.vz and other platforms also. And many a times we have found that when we get a proposal through the platforms, it has already gone through one level of curation, and most of those filters what we look at: the problem statement, the size of opportunity, the quality of the management team and the founder team, and the validation of the business model is already taken care. So we usually look at ventures through the platforms, because that actually helps us to kind of quickly get into a decision very quickly, because there's a curation done. We are also open to kind of receiving proposal directly, but given the bandwidth and resource allocation, we prefer to kind of get proposals through platforms, because mostly we have found that has been very, very helpful in the past. That's experience.
Right. Just one parting question. Startups can create or start creating a value or innovative products, at an early stage or a later stage of their journey. As a group, at which stage do you really look at, connecting or engaging with the startups? Are they early stage startups, or are they, late stage startup when, they are more stabilized in terms of their product or their business?
The early stage is good, no doubt about it, because that's where there could be multiple calibrations that could be done. But preferably post idea stage, preferably on a product stage, right? And there is a solve, and there could be a paid POC, that could be potential paying customers. That is more interesting, because that's where we also can add value and add stage. But early stage is more the interesting space.
Absolutely. I think I hear you out, and I think that's what I just mentioned, at beginning also, that more and more even startup funds are looking at getting engaged with early stage startups rather than late stage startups. So
Yeah.
thanks, Navneet. Thanks for sharing your thoughts on how business groups like Manipal are looking at engaging with the startup ecosystem, which can contribute to their growth plan and the value. At 100x, our aim is also to create a winning partnership between corporates and startups through the CVC or a corporate innovation program. And you can obviously connect with us at any point of time to know more about how we can partner with you. Uh, so thanks, Navneet. Thanks for your time today. Look forward to keep interacting with you and understanding more and more about how the Manipal Group is looking at.
Sure, it's a pleasure to be part of this program, Utpal, and thank you for considering the group and me for being part of this program. We look forward for a collaboration with 100x VC. We have always been there. We have been part of some of your programs also. Excellent journey, and I think we are looking forward to this year for a good collaboration with you. Thank you, Utpal.
Thank you, Navneet. And thank you, everyone, for joining this session. Stay tuned for more sessions as we move ahead in 2023. Thank you, and have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Thank you.